Hi, welcome to SuzieVision. My name is Susie. Today I wanted to talk about Disney Cruise. Yes, I know a lot of people from the UK are planning to go on a Disney Magic at Sea cruise. In fact, as of right now, the very first one is already on day 3 of their cruise out of Liverpool. So they're somewhere off the coast of Ireland right now. There have already been 2 cast previews of the Disney cruise as well, and there are plenty of videos out there that you can go and check out if you want to see some of those. There's some pretty good videos out there showing you kind of what you might be getting ready to expect, but I want to talk about some things that, having been on a Disney cruise before, things I found essential and things that you might find essential given COVID and everything else going on with the various restrictions. Item number 1, which you're probably already carrying around anyway as course of habit, because of the current restrictions in the UK and even the recommended restrictions if you're watching this after the 19th of July, a mask. Now I would recommend probably having at least 2 for each day of your cruise, just in case it is hot, because I don't know about you, but I find that this raises my temperature by what feels like 10 degrees. So sometimes it's nice to just refresh the mask during the day. One tip I just wanted to give, particularly if you've got the Disney mask, because I noticed that online a lot of people go, oh, it fits, but it's kind of loose. So one of the things I did is I went on Amazon, obviously other internet retailers available, and bought some little rubber things that I then just thread the ear loop through, and it allows me to adjust the tightness of the mask. So I personally found, this is actually, I don't know if the sizes translate properly, but in the UK this is a large Disney mask, and I found it was too loose, so I put these little things on and it's the perfect fit. And I'll steam up because I'm wearing my glasses. Don't forget your masks, they're important. Next up, this is something I haven't seen anyone that's been on the Disney Magic at Sea cruises mention yet. Apologies if you have, but one of the things that people who have been on a Disney cruise before will know is that once you're certainly on your second cruise, you start being given lanyards when you check in. Now, you think, what big deal, free lanyard. Okay, well, first they use it to identify like their silver members, their gold members, their platinum members of the Castaway Club. But there is a really practical reason why you want a lanyard, and that is to carry your room key in. Your room key is like access to everything. So what they actually do is they have contactless touch points that they use, and they scan you. Typically they'd scan you in and off the ship. Obviously on Disney Magic at Sea you're not actually going to get off the ship until the very end, but when you're buying stuff in the stores they scan you in. So my recommendation is to take, sorry, this one's really jingly, is to take a lanyard so that you can hold your room key in, and that way you never forget it, and it's something slightly bigger than a card that could slip out of your pocket, so even if you don't wear the lanyard and you just put it in your pocket, you're gonna find it super easily and quickly. The other thing I recommend taking is some sanitizer, but particularly one with a clip. Why? Because when you've got your lanyard and you've got your clip, you can just go boom. Easy, 2 things to remember, and I personally have found over the course of the last, year and a half, it feels like way longer than that now, that most of the provided sanitizers are kind of gunky. So I personally prefer to take my own. I get a scented sanitizer, and then like one like Carex or something that comes in a big bottle, and I put a few drops of the scented one in with the Carex so it smells nicer, and then boom, you've got a nice scented one without it being like overbearingly scented. So there you go. Lanyard sanitizer. Next up, so this one I can't show you because I'm using it right now to record, but you are going to want to make sure you've got your phone. The characters can pop up at any time. They can be wandering around the ship, they can be at dinner, they can be at the end of quizzes. Like, they seem to pop up here, there and everywhere. So you're going to want to make sure that you've got a camera on you at all times. And the easiest way to do that is to have your phone. The second reason is that one of the things you're going to make sure you want to have is the Navigator app. Now, the Navigator app on any normal day, totally invaluable, because you can see all your itinerary, you can favorite different activities, and if you see an activity that you want to do but it clashes with something else, typically you can tap on that and then it will show you what other times throughout your cruise that it's going to be on. So the app is really, really useful. But you add in COVID and what you get is that doing things like adding tips when you go and have a coffee at Cove Cafe or go to one of the bars, you're going to do through the app. They're using it for reserving your slot in the queue for the pools, for looking at the menus for everything. And it also has a really cool messenger feature. So you can actually message anyone on the ship if you know their unique user number, which is within the app itself. You'll see it when you log in when you're on the ship. So super good for keeping in touch, not just with other people that you're traveling with, but also if you've come across anyone else on the ship as well, and also contacting guest relations. Something that links in with the phone thing is if you're using your phone all the time, you're going to be using power. Are you going to be near a charger at all times? Probably not, and that is why I recommend taking a portable battery pack that you can just carry with you. It's not particularly heavy, and then you can make sure that you've got power. And then if you're like eating a meal, you can just quickly plug it in, or if sat down at one of the bars or something, you can plug it in, and it's not really a big thing, and you don't have to worry about going back to your room to get power. On the cruise ship, they actually don't have any UK plugs. Of course they don't, because they're an American company. Why would they have UK plugs on the ship? So you're going to want to make sure that you have the ability to plug into typically an American socket. Now, what I personally do, especially as you are not allowed to take extension leads on the ship, you're going to want to make sure that you have plenty of plugs for your devices. What I personally choose to do, and you can find all sorts of these on Amazon and everywhere, is I get a multiple USB charger which has a US plug on the end. So that way I actually only have to carry one plug for pretty much every device that I could be taking. Oh yeah, so I also recommend taking some bottles of drink. You typically take some bottles of like water or juice or something onto the ship, simply so that you can keep it in your fridge. You do get free sodas, water, coffees, teas, hot chocolate, etc. That is, I believe on the Magic, it's on deck 9 near Cabanas on port side. I had to think about that. That's what it seems to be from the videos that I've seen. It's great, but if you wake up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, you're probably not going to want to go all the way up to deck 9 to get a drink. So I find it easier just to have a bottle of something in the fridge in the room, and then I can just grab it if I need to in the middle of the night. On a similar note, when you get the soft drinks on the cruise ship, they are in the world's smallest cups. If you're used to going to a Disney park and you see the kids' drinks, like they're that size cup, like this big. So I find that is probably about enough for me to just quickly have a drink, but not enough if I want to have a longer drink. So again, if you're wanting to get a drink to take back to the room, just to kind of chill, etc., what you can do is if you ordered, say, 3 drinks and you have a reusable cup, you can decant the drinks into the cup. They will not fill up your reusable cup. That is a health and safety thing, but you can order the 3 drinks and decant them into the cup. So if you think you might want to carry around a slightly bigger drink than they are providing, reusable cup is going to be the way to go with that one. Last thing that I recommend taking, I promise. Last thing. If you've been on a cruise before, you'll know that one of the things that is insane about the staterooms is the amount of hidden storage they have. And one of the things they did on the cruise line, which they then actually moved over to a lot of their hotels, is having under bed storage. So if you have a big suitcase, which I probably would have because souvenirs, don't judge me, you want to put that suitcase under the bed, you probably want to forget about it for the rest of the trip. I am a live out of a suitcase person. If I'm in a hotel, I live out of my suitcase. I don't like putting stuff in drawers, etc. It's just not the way my brain works. What I find really useful for the cruise is having packing cubes. You can get compression ones, you can get non-compression ones, but the reason I find packing cubes useful is simply because it allows me to literally lift the packing cubes out of my suitcase, put them in the drawer, and then it's still like I'm living out of my suitcase. Plus, everything's a bit more organised than it would be if it was just loose in the suitcase, for when you're unpacking as well, because you can organise it however your brain works. But I find them super useful. I literally got a set from Primark for £5. You do not have to spend a load of money. You can get them, Amazon Basics do a decent set. They're not that expensive, so you don't have to spend loads of money if you don't have them already. There you have it. Those are my recommendations for things to take on the cruise. Yeah, if you are going on the Disney Magic at Sea cruises, I hope you have an absolutely wonderful time. The Disney Magic is the original Disney cruise ship, debuted in 1998. I, as a kid, remember cruise line launching and remember seeing pictures of the Disney Magic and being like, that would be amazing to go on. And it took a long time after that for me to actually get on a cruise ship, because I know a lot of people worry that the Disney cruise is going to be like super, like loads of kids everywhere and stuff, and my family are not those people, so it really isn't. You can certainly, on cruises I've been on before, you can avoid the kids. There are adults only areas. The bars in the evenings are totally kid free, so if you're worried about that, honestly, don't be. You barely notice them. If you're okay with them in the parks, you'll be okay with them on the cruise ship. Oh, you know what? I told you that was all the items, and I totally forgot one. Duh. So there is something else that I recommend taking on your cruise ship with you. You can actually buy these on the cruise ship. So one of the things that if you've been on a cruise before, you will know happens is as you're walking the corridors with all the rooms, you see magnets on the doors. They're really cute. People like design the doors. It's really, really sweet, but they're really cute. If you go onto videos and you see the rooms, you'll see what I mean. Now, I recommend taking a magnet for a slightly different reason other than just decorating your door, which is a lot of fun, by the way. But the reason I recommend taking a magnet is because when you're walking down those halls of rooms, you might know your room number, but it's still really difficult to remember exactly where it is along the corridor. And I am someone who has been known to try and walk into other people's flats because I walked the wrong way along the corridor. True story. But if you have some kind of distinctive magnet on the door, then you can actually very quickly see which is your room as you're walking past it, because you're like, that's my magnet, done. So for that reason, I recommend taking a door magnet thing to put on the door so that you can recognise your room. And they are still allowing those in COVID. They're just not allowing anything to be hanging, which most people would know as fish hooks. You can't take any of those, but you can take a door magnet to go on the door. So I recommend taking that. But back to what I was saying. I hope everyone that's booked to go on a Disney Magic at Sea cruise has a wonderful time. If you're not and you're planning another cruise, obviously most of the things I've said kind of apply to a normal cruise anyway. So I hope you have a wonderful time as well. And yeah, in the meantime, I hope everyone has as good a summer as you can have. I mean, the weather here, I am sweating, it's gross, but the weather has suddenly decided to cheer up. We've had a miserable summer so far in the UK, so fingers crossed it's going to get better. And yeah, have a great day.